So, Styles' Quest for Freedom, Part 1, page 3. Kyla's brow furrowed. Was it imagination, or was the female getting more eccentric as of late? Rani had heard a prophecy when she was but a girl. The people who kept them down here, away from the light, feared there would be an uprising. She wondered if this newborn was that this tale come to fruition, or perhaps it was just her imagination that had got her into much trouble throughout her life. In the shadows the birth had been witnessed. Two males looked on, their faces behind a material that was a composite. If anyone could have seen through these masks they wore, they might have seen a degree of pride. This male was the first of his kind. He had been manipulated at a genetic level. Though that female had given birth to him, there was no similarities. He was a new species, the woman merely a vessel. His brain had been stimulated while inside her. He was a culmination of centuries of so many failures, but they had succeeded. It was fitting he had witnessed the male's birth. A lifetime of sacrifice now forgotten with this triumph. But this was only the first stage of a bigger plan. Malak, that healer concerns me. She seems to always be at the centre of events when we hear stories of unrest. Malak sneered at the younger male whose name was Malak. You fool, the last thing we want is to terminate one in so high a position. Do you want to create a martyr? Besides, if she'd been a threat, he would have had her terminated long before she got to such a position within their community. Rani had been part of another set of clinical trials. The mortality rate for that particular experiment had been 98.7%. Malak smiled, remembering the team leader of that tragedy. The tragedy being that pompous fool had ever got such an opportunity. Malak had only met him once. Once had been more than enough. Arrogant, self-opinionated. Yes, that was all his good points. Success would be rewarded as failure had been in the past. Yes, everything was proceeding as planned. Rani wandered through the birthing chamber as if she knew where she was going. The truth was she had never been this far into the complex. Some areas still seemed to be under construction. Areas constantly changing for the requirements of the latest round of tests. Her people treating like specimens. The smell as well. What was that? Damp, with disinfectant, and perhaps bodily odours? She shouldn't think any more about it. She was beginning to think about evening meal. Perhaps their time was finally coming. Perhaps Kyla's son would be the weapon of their own destruction. There would be one interpretation of the prophecy. Perhaps if she was to ask a dozen people, she would get a dozen interpretations. So that's it. That's the page for tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry if the reading wasn't brilliant, but as I say, a bit out of practice. Better in here than out there, but never mind. Have a good night, everyone. Take care. Bye.